Hector Bravo, unhinged. Chaos is now in session.
Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing as we continue season 2, man. Another special guest. This was going to be super interesting, man. This guy did like law enforcement work across the border in Mexico, and I'm trying to figure out how all this shit went down. Today, we have none other than Dave. What up, Dave?
What's up, Hector? Man, hey, thank you for inviting me to your show. I'm a longtime fan. In fact, anyone that's checking this out, Hector keeps it real by at least interacting with his fans. It's one of the things I've always loved about you is that you take the time to respond to the comments, your service to this country, and also your service to keeping people safe. And, you know, I dig it.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that,
yeah.
bro. And I'm stoked. You had how many hours was your drive down here, dude?
18 hours.
18
I booked
hours.
it nonstop.
So like, yeah, one thing my manager brought it up to me. He's like, hey, your guests travel from all over to come on your show, dude. Like, that says something. So thank you, man, for taking your time.
No, man, I appreciate the invite, you know.
Yeah.
I watch your show all the time, and I've been watching you probably now for, I want to say a year and a half, something like that, and I watch you going on with your daughter and everything, and I love it, man. And so I started doing... My story is just so all over the place that I don't want to like dive down into rabbit holes.
Yeah.
I grew up in L.A. I was born in L.A. and I grew up with Blood and Crip gangs around and Latino gangs around. And as you know, if you're white boy and all this stuff, a lot of people expect white people to like capitulate. And I had a bunch of a certain gang that was African-American, 6 of them, pushed me off my skateboard. Which is funny because I'm skateboarding right down the street at Washington Street skate spot this morning.
That's right.
And yeah, no, you know what? San Diego's dope, man. I love San Diego. But they pushed me off it and they took my board. And the next day I came back with a bat and tuned the guy up.
What part of LA was this?
This was in the San Fernando Valley. But because of the busing that they had going on with the LA Unified School District, it didn't matter what part of the valley you're in. And my dad lived right next to the projects off of Wilbur and Parthenia. So they had these projects there. So we were always getting into it with Latino and black kids. And that's just kind of like the way that it started. One thing, you've been a prison guard for a long time, so you're aware that there's a lot of white people that wind up in prison.
Not a lot, but there are white people that end up in prison. There are white people.
Well, I was just telling you right when I got here. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm running a little late. I had a hiccup, but...
Yeah, we just keep it moving, man.
We're going to
improvise, overcome, and adapt.
That's right, man. I love that. So I wound up getting into gangs and stuff like that.
What year was this that transpiring?
The transpired...
This fighting with the blacks, the Mexicans.
This was in like 1984, 85, 86. I was born in 70, right?
I was born in 84.
Yeah.
So it's good to put a time period because, you know, the world has been turned upside down.
It has turned upside down. In fact, where I was working in Mexico, they're burning buses and shutting down the entire state today, right now.
So here we are back in 1984. What was on the TV, man? Pepsi commercials, the Raisin Brands?
MTV was brand new, dude.
MTV?
It was brand new. It'd come out in like 81 or something like that.
Was it popular amongst the people?
No, it wasn't really popular. In fact, they were pushing that stuff. I want my MTV and all that stuff. There was none of this.
What was popular?
Hell, I don't even know. Bryan Adams or some shit. Nothing I listened to, man. I listened to like punk rock and hip hop and stuff.
What kind of punk rock back then?
Punk rock? Bad Brains, Black Flag.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm digging on those.
And were you associating yourself with a bad crowd per se?
Yeah, totally, man.
Were you the bad crowd?
You know what? I wasn't digging on... It's weird because I just want to explain to your viewers, I'm just coming off like a podcast that was kind of popular. And so I got to put my story out there, and we didn't get into my story.
Let's hear it.
So I grew up... my mom... was a pot-smoking hippie chick that smoked pot with Charles Manson, straight up. And I've heard of stories in Charles Manson and Vacaville and whatnot. So I wound up in gangs and stuff like that in the San Fernando Valley. And some people don't consider the SFV part of L.A., but it is. And it's a big part of L.A. It's got major motorcycle clubs. There are 2 of them that are what some people consider gangs that are 2 of the major 5.
Who's there?
I don't want to give.
You don't want to give it. Okay,
I don't
that's
want to
fine,
give
that's
them their
fine,
names,
that's
but
fine,
you
that's
can
fine.
look it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
But they're major ones, and yeah, I'm not gonna get
Nah,
into
don't,
that.
bro. I'm not gonna make you say anything you don't want to, and that's
But
the
I
beauty of
did
this.
start going to school with like all these Bloods and Crips and Mexican gang members, and it was definitely a part of our life. In fact, it was a daily thing, and it's weird to see it on TV that people portray. And you're from out here too, so you see what we see every day. And when you go to other parts of the country, it's not like that. So people like trip on like, is it really that way? Yeah, you're going to school and there's gang members everywhere. There's drugs right there.
But it's almost normal.
It's totally normal. I'm going to drive back up to the valley today, and I'm going to drive through 3 different neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
Where you can get shot. In fact, I had a friend, Flux, that was shot in Pacoima. Straight up, they shot him in his head. He was trying to steal some dope.
Did he die or did he survive?
Yeah, no, they killed him.
Okay.
Well, he's in there. He was over there trying to steal drugs and stuff like that, and they shot him. And this just happened. And he was one of the guys I like looked up to. But my mom was like this pot smoking chick. My biological dad, they gave me away the day I was born, man. So I didn't have like a name for 2 years. They gave me to some doctor and lawyer couple up in San Francisco. And they were like beating me, and my mom got me back. But my biological dad's like a post-op transsexual, straight up, like cut it off.
At what point did you gain knowledge of your biological father?
It wasn't just me, it was my half brothers and sisters. And so they were clowning at school. It was like 8 or 9 years old.
8 or 9? And then at what point did he transition to a woman?
He was dressing like that quite a while, and he transitioned to I don't even want to call it a woman because that's dude's a dude.
You hear what I'm saying? Yeah,
I hear what
totally
you're saying.
understand.
Yeah, it was Dr. Stanley Biber
being
in Neenah,
extremely
Wisconsin,
respectful.
and he did it about 1996.
1996, before it was the popular thing to do.
It was not popular. So when I'm going to school, I'm slinging dogs all the time. Still got a little bit of cauliflower here. I
Yeah.
trained all the time.
Damn, dude, this is fucking wild, bro.
So like my home life wasn't like anything. And my brother and I are slinging dope.
Did you have a stepfather in the household?
Yeah. Well, there was a stepdad, the dad that raised me, my biological dad, and I misspoke on Gagnon's video. The biological dad was in the Marines. He was in the Army, and he was a tunnel rat in Vietnam. So this dude, not only is he like mental as far as like cutting his stuff off, but like he went through some stuff in Vietnam too. He wasn't very tall. You and I are both way bigger than he is. He only comes up to like here. He's going down in these tunnels and stuff like that. So I don't know what he went through mentally, but that's what he went through. And he came back to the States, became a millionaire with his own factory, which is kind of how I got into aerospace and managing stuff, which feeds into how I got to Mexico. But the dad that raised me was in the Marines. And when he got out of the Corps, he got out right here at Camp Pendleton. We booked it back to Iowa for the first few years. Once my mom got me back and I grew up, I knew how to shoot by the time I was 4.
Because of your stepfather in the Marine Corps?
Right. Well, yeah. I call them both dad because they're both my dads.
Correct.
Yeah, my stepdad in the Marine Corps taught me how to shoot, taught me how to box, taught me how to everything. And when it came out at school because of my brothers and sisters about my biological dad being that way, you know.
It came out in school?
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I'm like fighting and stuff like that.
Oh, dude.
No,
I mean,
so
fuck, bro.
No, it's okay. It's
no,
all
I
right.
know it's okay, but it's really not because that's a lot for a young individual to
Hey, you know what?
bear.
You grow up. The thing that I want to say, because I've seen like stuff on Craigslist where like some social counselor one time was talking about the jack stuff that they see that goes on with kids. You got parents. I dig your audience, man, because you know what? I come from both worlds, man. My family's like ultra military, but it's also straight up hippie and drugs.
I hear you.
So I come from both of that, and a lot of us do. I mean, we're both sober, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, bro, if it's one thing that I like to portray to the crowd is that we're all similar in a lot of ways, and God wants us all to get along.
Soldiers, police, agents, and straight up criminals are all very similar people.
Yeah.
It's the mentality that can my violence conquer your violence? Because that's really, and it's in Shutter Island in that movie with Matt Damon. The Wild Buffalo Bill actor says it to Matt Damon or whatever, whoever that actor is. Can my violence conquer your violence? And when you're talking about men and most of the audience and stuff like that.
Well, we're hardwired for that. As men, we're hardwired for that.
Yeah.
For battle.
it's what's up. As boys, you learn that straight up. Like, what's up? Some of my best friends are Latinos that I went to school with, and we got into it right there in the classroom. And then, yeah, because you're like, hey, what's up? What's up? And then you get in a fight. But
did you find yourself incarcerated at all?
yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going there.
I didn't even know, dude.
Yeah, I'm going there quick because so we wind up, home life's not anything good. My brother and I are slinging drugs by the time we're 14 and 15.
What kind of dope?
Coke and some marijuana.
Coke.
Yeah, cocaine.
Coke.
This is right back in the Ricky Freeway days, man. So Ricky Ross.
Were you guys cutting it at that point in time?
No, we were cooking it up with baking powder and then making rock out of it. But most of the people that we knew, basing wasn't really a thing right then. This is like 86. And so we're like, man, I can't believe I'm saying all this on camera. But you know what? I've tried to write my book like 4 or 5 times. And I keep sputtering out because I want to keep people's names out of it, and I'm going to. But my brother and I are dealing with coke at the age of 14 and 15.
Real quick, in order to do that, write your book, right? Run it through ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, remove all the names and make them anonymous. And it'll fucking do it for you.
Thank you, man, because
Work smarter, not harder,
I've been
bro.
struggling with that for a long
ChatGPT
time.
is going to be your best friend, bro.
Yeah, because you don't.
It'll do it.
The thing that I love about you being a prisoner guard, because my wife's like, oh, my wife's a national reporter. You just met her. And so anyways, one of the things about my wife is she's like, oh, you got to script everything. I'm like, no, me and Hector are just going to roll with it,
Absolutely.
dude. So my brother and I are slinging drugs in the valley. We're slinging pot. We're slinging cocaine. And I'm not talking like we're moving bricks or anything like that. We're not. We're just like moving grams and stuff like that, sometimes some ounces. But I mean, for kids, you're already way involved in a world you shouldn't have anything to do with.
True.
And we're in with gangs. One thing leads to another. And one night, we think that a cop, I'm going to get into where I got busted. We thought a cop was walking down the street. This is in 1991. And I'm doxing myself. I don't give a damn. I put on a uniform in Mexico. If they ever catch up with me and
You'll be
decide,
fine, bro.
well, no, I mean, if bad guys ever decide to show up to my house someday and decide, you know, we don't like that guy talking all that stuff on line, I go home and they can show up and decide to punch my card or whatever, and that's just the way it's going to be.
I feel you.
And you feel it that way too when you show up, when you go into service or when you go to work.
I ain't tripping.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's what it is.
Comes with the
You
territory.
accept it. Exactly. So anyways, we thought this cop was walking down the street, and I ran across the street undercover, and I ran across the street and bombed on him, man. Because we thought it was a cop that was trying to like.
Wait, real quick, man. Is it ever a good idea to bomb on an undercover cop?
Yeah, sometimes.
How and why?
Because,
Did you teach him a lesson?
Well, you know, I don't want to seem like too nonchalant about it. The police and the government are a very badass agency. You don't want to choose something. But when you're like in the hood or whatever, is there a certain danger that comes along with being an undercover officer?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to figure out what is the perks. What is the perks from a drug dealer side?
I'm going to tell you exactly, because that way, if he was a cop and he was trying, the police would swoop on us right away, and all it is assaulting a cop and not something worse.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah, that was like straight up mentality, dude. And the people that are wondering.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that can you get booked for assaulting a cop?
Yeah, you can totally get busted for assaulting a cop, but you're not getting busted for possession and sales of all kinds of stuff. And the guy was in front of our house.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So this night wound up becoming an attempted murder charge, man.
Oh, no way, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Go ahead.
Van Nuys, California, May 31st, 1991. A dude and I were busted, and the guy had gotten his throat slit ear to ear. And I hate that because my life has changed so much. You got so many people to get locked up and then get out. And I didn't do it. I didn't slit the dude's throat, but I was sitting right there when it happened.
In the jail?
No, this was outside.
Okay.
And that cop that we thought it wasn't a cop. It turned out to be someone else that was slinging drugs. And so we took that guy back to his house. And this is all on tape. You know, I left a package of documents that I wanted to show Hector this morning to validate exactly who I am, what I've done, where I've been. and I left it at the waffle stop. My wife's going there right now to go pick up my documents. Yeah.
I'm good at reading people, bro. So far, I'm not detecting any bullshit.
So I'm 100%. And one of my brothers from my platoon in Mexico just responded to the Camp Ganyan video on my thing this morning. So I'm 100% for real, just like you are, which is why I love your podcast. Because I thought, man, I'm like, dude, you realize he's law enforcement. And you got like this whole thing. So anyways, we wind up back at this guy's house, and we want to rob his whole house because we were into robbing drug dealers. I don't know how black and Latino gangs get down, but like white gangs, we get down like that. We want to rob drug dealers.
This was another white individual?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyways, I know the guy's name. And if I ever felt, and being sober, part of getting sober is you make amends, and sometimes they're living amends.
Eighth step.
That's right. And so I would love to tell this guy, hey, man, I'm really sorry that happened.
But it also says that unless it's going to injure you or them. So
right. And if he knew that I knew where he lived or something like that, it might flip him out. So I can't ever go back and tell that guy. And I feel dreadfully sorry. And I haven't been looking at time in a long time. I don't have anything. Like I said, I've been sober 28 years. And to be honest, I live a really lonely life because when we got in, they were trying to give us, man, you might have been babysitting me for like 15 years to life, dude, because they were trying to give us that. And because the guy had his throat slit, he spent a bunch of time in intensive care.
God,
and he didn't die. And because we didn't waive our right to a speedy trial, and your audience can detect whether or not I'm bullshitting this. You got arraignment and all this other stuff, and they have to do it within a certain period of time. I'm not making a cent of this up. My brother's in my platoon in Mexico, where I'm carrying weapons, machine guns for the Mexican military, or not Mexican military, the Mexican Secretaría de Seguridad Pública. So just think like your public security agency for the entire state of Zacatecas, where they're burning buses in the highways right now. They shut down the whole state today, right now. It's on
today.
It's on CNN, right?
We'll get there, but I want to hear more about this dude got his throat slashed.
Yeah, he's in intensive care, and I'm not bragging about any of this.
I know you're not a doctor, but do you think that his life could have possibly ended?
It spurred out 3 drops. I was sitting right on top of the guy's head, looking down at him while the other guy was sitting on his chest and slit his throat, and I saw 3 big spurts of blood. How he survived, I don't know. And we've both seen a lot of people bleed and die. Do you even have a count? I don't even have a count anymore, man.
No, I don't.
Neither do I. And
I guess it really doesn't even matter after the first one.
Yeah, it's sad.
Right.
Yeah, it really is, because you get so immersed. You're like a tea bag dipped into a cup of water, and pretty soon the water's just so full of.
I try to shield my daughter from that, man. I try to keep her preserve her innocence.
I trip on that sometimes, dude. Because
I preserve her innocence.
My daughter got left in Russia. That's how I wound up in Mexico. I lived in Russia.
You did?
Yeah. Да. Если я хочу говорить с тобой по-русски, я могу. Yeah. So I wound up.
What did you just say right now? You didn't call me an
asshole
in
no,
Russian,
I said,
you?
I'm like, yeah. I said yes. And if I want to speak to you right now in Russian, I totally can.
All right, cool.
And your audience, there will be someone out there that speaks Russian and be like, yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And so we don't waive our right to speedy trial. And I'm tripping balls, man, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. I'm barely 21, man.
Were you under the influence of dope?
No, that's what was messed up.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was not under. I had a couple shots. We were drinking at a place called the Canby Suite. Drinking a couple shots, but I was not drunk at all. And it was all about making money, dude. Wanted to go rob this guy, and he had drugs at his house. We talked to him. He's like, no, I sell and stuff. We're like, cool. We want to buy some stuff. Let's go. Go over to the dude's house, and then all this other stuff happens because he didn't want to let us in.
Well, you said making money. Ideally, somebody in your position. I mean, are you guys balling out of control?
No, we're not. We're not balling. In fact, to be honest, because other people get on here, they're like, oh, we weren't like big time hoods or anything, dude. We were just your run of the mill people from the valley. And I hate when people overstate who they are to try to make it more dramatic or some shit. You know what? No, I was not Ricky Ross. Because there are legit ballers in L.A., man. There's a bunch of them. I wasn't one of them. We were just trying to figure out how to make some money and rob drug dealers. And if you come up on a few pounds of pot or something, I mean, you're not talking $500 or $600. You're talking a few grand, but we're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in a house up in in Encino or anything
Yeah.
like that. Nah, dude.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay. Good. I just want the visual picture.
So, but yeah, we are about going into your house and
Fucking shit up.
taking all your shit. Yeah, for real. And we weren't like, it wasn't, racism didn't have anything to do with it
Was
either.
there ever like any props? I mean, duct tape, rope, blindfolds, or was it just fucking sporadic?
No, there was none of that. It was a sporadic thing.
Weapons?
Yeah, yes. Duct tape and all that stuff in a kidnapping.
Physical force.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
I mean-
I'm tracking.
No, there's no like kidnapping or anything like that.
I
but
mean,
yeah.
it is kidnapping by definition.
Well, it would be, yeah, if you're moving someone. If you're just taking their shit from them,
It was home invasion.
could be. Yeah.
Okay. We're all talking about the same thing here.
No, I know, but
you're all up in somebody's house and they don't want you in there.
yeah, we
taking
got to
their
make
shit.
sure that the statute of limitations is out on that one.
No, you're fucking fine, bro. But anyways, you haven't said anything.
I know.
Thus far.
I get with that. I'm just saying, I want to stick with the attempted murder thing. And this is
Yeah.
part of which is why I feel comfortable about talking about this, Hector, because all of this went through Van Nuys Superior Court.
Okay.
And I watch people like blow themselves up on YouTube and stuff. I'm not going to put myself in those shoes.
Right.
This did happen. And the guy was in intensive care. And I feel terrible about it. I really do feel terrible about that, man. There are people that suffer violence every day that shouldn't have to because of drugs. And on the flip side of it, drugs are something that people actually want around, including alcohol. They want it because they keep buying that shit. And not just like your low-life criminals. I mean, a lot of people, even politicians or whatever. But
Hunter Biden.
yeah, Hunter Biden right there in the White House
Yeah.
doing it up. You know, there's a couple famous people that we've slung to, too, and I'm not going to put their names on here, but they were on the shows. I couldn't believe that they were buying stuff. It was people attached to the Silver Spoons. There was a Silver Spoon show, and there were people on there that had bought drugs from us a couple times. And another one that's a midget that's now dead. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get sued. But this was our world. So the guy got out of intensive care the very last day that they had to try us or whatever. He comes to court. He gets up on the stand, and he's sitting there talking about all of this stuff. And the judge is like, you realize that you don't have any more time to try these two guys, and your witness is up on the stand incriminating himself for selling drugs. I want to see counsel in my chambers. And they came back, and they gave us a deal for 5 years joint suspension and a county bullet. And so I did my county bullet in L.A., which is not the best place.
What's a county bullet?
A county bullet's a year. That's slang for a
Why
year.
do they call it that? Is there like
I don't know why they call it a bullet, but that's what it was
Never
called.
heard it.
Yeah, so they came back and they dropped the 15 years of life charge. They're like, nope, we don't want that. And they're like, I had what was called California Wobbler, so believe it or not, I'm not even a felon anymore.
Because it was a misdemeanor or a felon?
The prosecutor
Felony?
had the opportunity to charge assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily harm, or with great bodily harm. Yeah, ADW with GBH. That's what it was.
GBI.
Great bodily injury.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, that can be charged as a misdemeanor or a felony in this.
Did they initially hit you with attempted murder?
Yeah, they initially hit us with attempted murder. Yeah, dude.
Fuck, dude, that's so fucking wild.
You know what? Do you have haters online?
Every day.
Okay, because I'm learning what it is to have haters, and I know I'm going to get some haters from this. And you know what?
Don't worry. Trust me. Don't worry.
I know
about
I don't give a damn because I feel fortunate to even be alive because so many of us aren't.
100%.
So, and I have a great big powerful God that sent me to this earth to learn whatever it is I'm supposed to learn. And I wish I would have had a normal childhood where I went to Calabasas High, I went to USC, and I'm making $200,000 a year. I take that back. I love my wife and I love my life. But you know what I mean by saying that. So I wish I wouldn't have had to have gone through all this stuff.
God put you here not to learn, but to teach.
Could be.
Through your experiences.
So they send me to L.A. County, and I go to 9,300, 9,600, which I don't know if you've ever been inside L.A. County. And this is old L.A. County. And it was like a zoo, dude. It was crazy because they've got like 300 or 500 people in these modules, man. And I went in there, and they're all the Chicanos over there. And one of the dudes was slamming dope, slamming heroin, nodding out, snot dripping out of his nose. It's like a mini city. I walk in to go take a shower. There's some dude choking on some other dude's stuff. Yeah, for real. Like one of the first nights in there. It's like a madhouse. Just LA County is like the biggest county in the state. So, I mean, everyone that goes there, especially like 9,300, 9,600 are like the dorms they stick everybody in before you go to before they go to classification. Similar to what you would do when someone catches a chain. Fortunately, I got the 5-year joint suspended, which means I wasn't even charged with it. And that later got dropped to a misdemeanor and expunged completely. So the only thing that I really had to do was sit there and do my time while we were going to court, which was crazy because they stuck us in Wayside Max and Super Max. I got my GED while I was locked up. They didn't even want to let me get that because of my classification for our crimes. And, man, it's way out. I can't believe I'm sitting here telling you all this stuff. But, you know, I'm happy that I finally get the chance to talk, and I dig your channel, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me on, man.
Absolutely, dude.
So I'm trying to, like, make something out of my life, and I'm sitting there looking at, like, a life sentence, man. And the sheriff.
During this time, this is like the 3-strike law era.
Right.
This is like because I've learned right through history and through talking to people that this is when California started packing the prisons.
Yeah, dude, we were tripping, dude. Because
were you having conversations with fellow inmates?
No. When I was there, there's a group that's been green-lighted by a certain group that you've guarded. The upper echelon group of people that are my skin color has green-lighted another group. You know which ones I'm talking about. This other group, I had a lot of friends that were involved with that, personal friends. And so 100% I would have gone the way of the NLR or whatever, you know. But I didn't wind up going to prison and catching a chain, thanks to a miracle. And there was no snitching. Anyone that wants, they can go pull the transcripts or whatever was. Bottom line is we both took a deal. My crime partner had just gotten out after doing some time at Tracy. So he was kind of low too.
Hey, Warriors, if you haven't already signed up for our all-new website, HectorBravoShow.com, make sure you sign up at the link below, HectorBravoShow.com, to watch explicit, uncensored, never-before-seen prison footage. With that, love you. Keep pushing forward.
Swastika blasted on his face. I've got great big old things. You know,
Now, you said you had those tattoos.
Yeah.
Were you representing something?
I had written the Skinhead White Supremacist National Association for whatever. It was and I was a teenager at the time. White Aryan Resistance or some bullshit. I didn't dig going to school and getting beat up. So I was going to make sure that I was being combative too, because
Militant.
I'm not going to go to school and get beat up by anybody, man. I don't think any man in his right mind, regardless of what color, would. And because a lot of white people come from successful family households where they haven't been broke up, they wind up going to school and becoming successful. So there's not like a lot of white gang members, but the ones that come from broken homes and shit like that, yeah, you're definitely.
Would you say there was a lot of you guys?
No. There's probably maybe 15 of us.
Wow.
Yeah, back then, not a lot, but there's more. It's like that RICO thing that just happened in the Valley. So there's enough for the federal government to pay enough attention to go after the whole thing.
Right.
And the only time it's happened to white people in the entire country happens from right where I'm from. In the Valley, it's got 2 major motorcycle clubs. It's got that RICO indictment. It used to be the capital of pornography until they decided to do the Adult Video Awards in Las Vegas. So then it kind of changed.
This is San Fernando Valley.
This is the San Fernando Valley. It's in all the videos.
Well, you're giving us a history lesson. I didn't realize all of this.
Yeah, they've got like the American graffiti. Everyone's cruising down Van Nuys Boulevard.
Yeah.
The Valley is, I get why people, because I've lived in both portions of LA. I've lived downtown LA and I've also lived in the Valley. And the people from the rest of LA don't like to consider the San Fernando Valley part of LA because it got added afterwards, but it's definitely part of of LA.
You know what I like? I like having you guys on here and explaining where you guys are from Southern California and or California, because people who are not from California probably thinks that everybody over here is just weird.
Yeah,
and
they
soft
don't
with
they
it.
don't get it, man. There is a ton hoods in the valley that would be like famous, like in a California penitentiary level, would be Barrio Van Nuys, Pacoima, Tortilla Flat. Well, I don't know if that's in the valley, but Sylmar, Sanford. They've got like all these hoods, and of course, once they get locked up, they're all rolling under it with the MA, but because they're all SoCal. And I've lived in NorCal too, so I've seen it's kind of a trip, man, being around. Just the difference in the Latino community between North and South is huge.
Even the food is different.
Everything's different. And being in LA, I am proudly Angelina. I tell my wife, because my wife's Hispanic, man, from Mexico. And I tell her, I'm like, you don't get, like, even Nazi lowriders. Like, there's so much amalgamation between the races, like, because we've lived together so long. Cruising down Sepulveda Boulevard or whatever. It's like there's so much. Whites and Latinos have lived in Southern California together for probably 4 centuries or longer, man. So it's been like a long time. So like I don't really like trip on Latinos. And so like going north, seeing how they're all. So I dig Southern California Latino culture is what I'm saying. When you go north, they're like all kind of like farmers and stuff.
Or they act black.
Yeah, I don't want to get
just kidding.
You can say it. If I say it, I'm being a certain way. But I mean,
I can't say it, but I just felt like saying it.
Yeah, but well,
I'm just kidding, guys. You don't act black.
It's
but
different. It's different because they hang out together. So, anyways, like the day that I got sober. So we go through this, and I get out, and I start getting sober, man. And I got love, man. I did less than a year in county jail because they're kicking people out because it's so overcrowded. And I got my GED. And I got sober. And I knew I didn't want to mess around with drugs, but I didn't know that I didn't want to drink. So I go back to the homeboy's house because I'm making all this money. There's chicks there. I got a little cash. They're like, hey, you want some pot? I'm like, no, I don't want any pot. You want any speed? No, I don't want any speed. They ask me, you want a strawberry daiquiri? And we're playing poker. I'm like, man, that's a great idea. I would fucking love a strawberry daiquiri. So they bring me one. And immediately I told them, I'm like, hey, I'm going to rob you if you don't give me some of your shit. Because they're like, no.
Oh, immediately?
Immediately. Because I'm like, what's the difference? You're already,
Right.
You pissed away your 2 years of sobriety that you had.
Yeah.
This is a 97 or 95.
I mean, that's just how strong alcoholism and addiction is.
I haven't had a drop to drink in 28 years, man.
That's good.
And I'm grateful to God because I remember where I come from. And those of you that don't know, before all this stuff went down, I had gone to enlist several times, man, and they didn't want anything to do with me, man.
What branch?
The Marine Corps, I've gone down there several times. I've gone to enlist 7 times. And I've taken the ASVAB each time. And the last time I went to go enlist, I told them, you can put me in a C-130 transport plane with no gear, throw me out over the Taliban, and I will fucking fight them with no weapons. Just let me join. Because they have captain's waivers. For those of you that have been locked up in the penitentiary, you probably don't know what a captain's waiver is. The recruiters will lie to you and tell you anything to get you to join because they have numbers that they have to meet every month. And so anyways, a lot of times one of their ways around getting people into the military is by, if there's something that's going to draw a flag, is giving you what's called a captain's waiver. He's got a felony. Is it that bad? Stamp that shit and send him down into, what's the next stage after recruitment where you go to?
MEPS.
MEPS, that's it. Send them down to MEPS and see if they're okay. If they make it, cool. Put them down to the Marine Corps Recruit Depot. If not.
At what point in time did a light bulb go off in your head where you got the idea you wanted to go to Mexico?
Okay, so I'd gone. What point in time when my ex-wife left my daughter in Russia?
When your ex-wife left
Yeah,
your
but that's
daughter
like
in
fast
Russia.
forwarding like a decade, man.
With your
More.
ex-wife Russian?
Yeah. So I'm getting to that. So you guys won't let me or anybody else like me. And I mean, like, I'm like blasted. I've got shit all over. You won't let us go to the military. You won't let us get away from our street life. And I mean, I get that we're knuckleheads. And at this point in time, I didn't have an education. I went to school studying law in Mexico. But I wanted to do something with my life other than just be a scumbag and running around.
Yeah.
The military didn't want nothing to do with me. And when I got that, I wasn't convicted of the attempted murder, but I still wanted to go to the military. And they're like, we're not touching you with a stick. And I almost aced my ASVAB. I only missed 3 on the whole thing, man. And they're like, whoa, you can be military intelligence. And they're like, your record comes back. And they're like, no, you can't. And so I'm like, okay. So I chill out and I do the aerospace thing with my dad's business for quite a while. And I wind up doing that. And just, I don't know, man.
How did you end up in Russia?
I saw the Daniel Pearl beheading video.
Which one was that one?
That was the Jewish guy. It's funny. I got these big old racist tattoos on the back of my arms, which I've been getting lasered off for like years. And this tattoo I got burned off. Someone asked me about that on the other thing. This tattoo, I went down to go get it burned off with a doctor and like $5,000, and I didn't want it, so I went and got $15 worth of MAP gas and burned it off at home in like 5 minutes. It's all scarred right there. You can question.
How did you apply the?
You heat up a butter knife until it's red hot, and then you just burn that shit off, man.
Did it hurt?
Yeah, it hurt, man. But you know,
I mean, it was a stupid fucking question.
No, but
I just seemed
no.
like
You know what I love about
you
you being military and a California prison guard, man, is because you know what it is to be committed to something.
100%.
And so you can argue process, but you cannot argue results. You can argue how you're going to get something done. Hey, I'm a scumbag piece of shit from the valley. My mom didn't want me. I never sucked on my mom's titty. My daddy's a tranny. I grew up with drug addiction in the household, even though I had good examples in both of my dads as far as military goes, and I still fucked it all up. What do you do? So you try to go to the military and be good, so you can argue how you can make every excuse that you want in your cell right now.
Facts.
Or you can decide that I went and I got sober, man. I don't want to jump around, but there's
I'm tracking. What you're saying is, hey, man, we all go through some fucking life.
You go through some shit, and then one day you get in your head, you're going to man the fuck up, or you're going to like just succumb to everything you want to be a victim of. Absolutely. And I ran through it this morning picking up fuel for $4.29 a gallon right down the street from here. Some dude, homeless and stuff, and I am hugely sympathetic towards people that suffer.
Absolutely.
But also, you got to do everything you can to fight anything that's coming your way, because no matter who's looking at this on whatever side of the law, nobody is going to take care of you except for you, period. Mommy's gone. She's dead. She died the day I got home from the Bering Sea. So I got sober, and I met this guy, and I was reading a book on Dr. Joseph Mengele with a big swastika right on the front of it. This came out in the LA Times, so if you guys want to go do your Deputy Doolittle homework, you can go ahead. But there's me and a cat by the name of Andre, and he's a member of the Nation of Islam. And he asked me, he's like, what's that book you're reading, white boy, and all this stuff? And it's got a big swastika. And I'm like, it's a white thing. You wouldn't understand. Well, because being white, they're going to try to punk you. And when I was locked up, there was a Muslim 5%er, and I got these tattoos on me, and I'm doing pull-ups under the stairs. And he's like, what are those tattoos on you? And are you a member of the KKK? And I'm like, no, but I support what they believe in. And to be honest, my wife's sitting right over here. You can see her, Hector. She's not white. She's Latina. Most beautiful person I've ever met in my entire life. Probably saved my life, man, because when you don't wind up in Mexico fighting drug cartels unless you're ready to die, straight up. So he asked me if I was a member of the KKK, and I couldn't back down, so I had to tell him, yeah. Even though I'm like, no, I'm not, but I support what they believe in. So he went back upstairs where all the black guys were. And ironically, I went to a Latino. I told him, hey, I need a pencil. And you already know where I'm going with this. And I went over the stairs, and I told him, the first one of you guys that come down those stairs, I'm going to fucking stab you to death. So if you punk out being white or whatever, your whole stay is going to be unpleasant.
You know what's crazy is that there's a perception and or misconception that because a person is white, they have white privilege.
Yeah, no, you don't have white privilege, dog. The next day on the smoke yard, me and 5 of those black guys and Shanester from the Valley, I want to thank you for helping me out, man. There was 3 of us that was white. One of them was a punk and didn't want anything to do with it. Shane is a member of a certain group that I'm talking about, and I don't know what his story is. We fell out of contact. We're friends on Facebook. but we never interact. I just see him there. But he's blasted bolts and everything, the whole deal. There's no white privilege because he and I both come from the valley, and we both wound up in that place with you babysitting us. I didn't wind up all the way up in the state yard, but he did. All my friends did. I should have been. If I hadn't have gotten sober, I would have been. And this would be a very different conversation. I'd be like, yeah, I remember you back on C Block or whatever.
Right.
Thank God that's not that way. So Andre comes over, and we get into it, and it's in the Margarita or whatever her name was, the reporter from LA Times that did it. She's in New York now because I tried to get that thing removed because there's some unflattering stuff. She misquoted me in that thing. It says I slit the guy's throat. I didn't slit the guy's throat. But me and Andre, we were fighting, and one day he comes over to my room. And this is like all people that just got out of prison or whatever. He's like, if I'd been born white, I'd be just like you. And he left. Fucked me up, man. Because I'm like, how is that possible? Just because members of the Nation of Islam aren't all lovey-dovey with white people, man.
Yeah.
So he tells me if I'd been born black, I'd be just like you. And I thought to myself, whoa, if I'd been born white, I'd be just like you. And I thought if I'd been born black, I'd be just like him. And all of a sudden, all my problems in my life aren't because of Latinos or blacks or whatever. This is when I got sober. Every problem in my life is because I fucked everything in my life up. I was gifted with sports. I do judo all the time. I got my job in Mexico because of this. And every gift that my God gave me, the best I could do was wind up in a place like that with everybody else that dropped the ball in every area of their life. And when I realized that, Hector, my whole life changed, man.
Absolutely. Talk to me the process of how you got into that Mexico job. Did you visit initially? Did you walk through
I've
the
been
border?
going to Mexico. We're Southern Californians, man. Tijuana's right there.
I know. But mostly, if you're going to be going to Mexico, you're going to be getting tacos or a beer.
Yeah, it's Tijuana. So there's a big difference between Rosarito Beach, which is where everybody in California goes. Yeah, I'm going to go be Mexican for a weekend.
Right.
Congrats. Nah, dog.
But you went down there job hunting.
So I saw the Daniel Pearl beheading video. We were talking about that. And I saw this Jewish reporter guy who at the end of the day was an American. Just like I'm American, just like you are, just like any black person watching this. We're born in this country whether we like it or not, and wherever you're born, that's where you're from, and you don't get to change it. I'm going to say it with all this stuff going on. You don't get to pick and choose where you're born. And this guy, just because he was an American, he was a reporter over in the Middle East, got his head cut off in a very brutal way, which is something I'll never forget. And I don't usually trip on, like, morbid gore stuff. In fact, my wife's a reporter, and she'll get photos sometimes from work. She'll show them to me, and I get pissed off every time she does because I've seen enough of that shit at work. I don't want to see it anymore. Unless I have to, and then that's different. But I saw this happen, and the American government's telling me that I can't go be a man and stand up for the right thing, and I'm not going to let anybody, I don't care what government it is, tell me that I have to have their permission to fucking do the right thing. Period. Whatever that looks like. And, I get that we have a general consensus on government. Hey, I'm not going to break in your house. I get it. You don't break into mine.
Right.
I dig that. But you don't need anyone's permission to be a decent fucking human being, man.
Correct.
So I went to Russia looking for a way to confront Al-Qaeda, man, because the American government wasn't going to let me do it.
Was this were you seeking mercenary type work?
Gonna stay out of that. Not seeking mercenary type work. I was seeking a way to become law enforcement or whatever, some legal way.
Okay.
I want to make sure that we're on board with that it was legal.
100%. Yeah,
because now the American government might be watching this being like, hey, we don't dig on what you're saying. Hey, I don't care.
I hear we got Trump. We're good at the moment.
Right. Hey, you didn't dig what I was saying when I was signing up to go fight bad people for fucking you. So when I saw that happen, I'm not going to stand there and let someone be like, hey. And I'm not like bloodthirsty or anything like that. Not at all. But when I got sober, I made a commitment to be a decent human being. When I wound up in Mexico, so nothing ever happened in Russia.
Nothing ever happened. Yeah.
No. I came back to the United States with a daughter is what happened. Yeah. And my ex-mother-in-law, in order to get into all that stuff over there, they have to know who you are. So there's like a whole vetting process.
Okay.
Russia's crazy, dude.
Well, fuck, I would only imagine.
So I don't want to really get into that.
No, that's fine. I want to talk about Mexico.
Because, and to be super honest, when you're involved with stuff like that, okay, here's one for you, because you're in the military, you deployed too. So when you go on deployment, there are people losing their lives and stuff like that. There are legal things that could happen to where you got to be very careful about anything. You said it the other day on one of your things about someone decided to lump up a staff member and then they wound up in their room or whatever, and you don't know what happened. You remember that?
I said what?
They had decided that there was going to be, oh, hell, what's the word that you used? They didn't like the yards being mixed with people and stuff like that. So people had to bounce, or else they're going to start assaulting staff.
Right.
And you said that one staff had got assaulted or whatever.
That I left.
Right. You left, and then that person that assaulted the staff don't know what happened. They wound up in a room, and whatever happened happened. L.A. County's that way.
Yeah.
I've been lumped up by L.A. County
But
sheriffs.
I have a clean conscience because I really do not know what transpired.
No,
in
and
that
which
room.
is totally cool. And I'm saying, just like everybody's watching this, we all know there's things that go on when you're in places where violence happens. Maybe that's a good way to put it. There are things that happen that not everybody's privy to except for the people that are there.
Beautifully well said, man. I love these conversations because we speak the same language.
You know what the language is.
Right.
And when you go to old LA County, if you don't know what the language is, you're going to learn it.
Well put, dude.
So, you know, and so when you're saying that, there's legalese involved because there could be lawyers involved if the complication gets more detailed.
True. But we're smarter than the average bear.
I try to be, I'm smart in some ways. Like I do math, I do computer programming. In fact, I just turned in a homework assignment yesterday because I want to get a degree in law in this country. But I wound up in all these places too. So some ways I'm really smart. In other ways, I'm behind the curve, bro.
How did the application process look like to get hired on by the Mexico?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So anyways, my ex-wife left my daughter in Russia, and I'm managing an aerospace factory at this point. We're making flight critical components for everything from nose landing gear for Raptor stuff, combat planes, military stuff. We're doing everything from Boeing and Airbus to military, Lockheed. We're doing all of it. Landing gear primarily, but also other components. Here's one for you. When a pilot's going to eject, it's a JPAC, we make the mechanism that launches their chair out of the cockpit. So just like there's a lot of technical things that we were doing, and I'm managing this factory doing it. I've got like 180 to 200 people. I'm getting to how I got to Mexico. This is during the Obama administration, and they decide they're going to send all the jobs south to Mexico. Most of my guys are Latino descent, so it's not even anything racist or anything. I told them, I'm not sending my guys jobs to a bunch of Mexicans. They're not my guys. And that really drove a wedge between me and upper management. I was middle management. So I had written the PGR, which is the Procuraduría General de la República. Now they call it the Fiscalía. They've changed it since I left. But it's basically the Mexican Department of Justice. And they're the ones that go after all the cartels. And I was on my way out at this company. My ex had left my daughter in Russia. And it's just weird how everything in my life just came together at a point in time. So I was totally... And I love my daughter, man, because I see how you love your daughter. My daughter's the same thing, man. I love that little girl. And she came back without my daughter, man. I'm like, whoa. It's not like a suitcase you left behind. So I already knew I was on my way out, and I had written them, and I told them, I'm like, hey, I want to come to work for you. I know martial arts. I'm great with weapons. I'm smart. I speak English, Spanish, and Russian, some Arabic. Ana ismi Daoud. Like my name is David in Arabic. And you mentioned the mercenary thing. Funny enough, I was looking at that, which is why I wound up speaking Arabic or studying Arabic anyways, because I wanted to go guard fuel convoys. I got a passport. Put me over there. I'll go. I don't give a damn. $100,000, $200,000 a year to guard your fuel? Sign me up, dude. Because you already come from violence and everything anyways. It's nothing new, dude. So I wound up in Mexico because the PGR had written me back and they told me, Mr. Frank, at this moment in time, you cannot work with us. And a lot of people would have taken that as a rejection. I took that as like a huge positive. And I said it on Mark's podcast. I'm like, Great. Right now I can't, but if I go to Mexico, I can, and I can get. So the first team had failed. They came back to me because I've got a lot of technical know-how from shop floor to management on how to just run the whole thing because of my dad. Will you please go now? And I went down there. They paid me a bonus, and every day when I was down there, I'm knocking on the Department of Justice's door being like, hey, man, you told me I could come work for you. They're like, no, you said not right now. I'm like, what do I have to do? So I kept going through everything and knocking on people's doors. And ultimately, I wound up at the Secretaría de Seguridad Pública, and there's two entities at the state police in Zacatecas, which right now there's a CNN thing that you guys can verify to where there's the state police that go out and patrol, and then there's the guy that runs all the security in the entire state, and I wound up working for that guy.
Where is Zacatecas located in
Zacatecas is, I misspoke on Mark's thing. Mexico isn't 1,200 miles long. It's like 1,600 miles long. It's an extra 400 miles. Zacatecas is like right smack in the middle of the country.
Is Sinaloa around there?
Sinaloa is to the northwest of Zacatecas. So you got Durango, Chihuahua. So you got the state of Chihuahua, the state of Durango, Zacatecas. You've got below that, you'll start getting towards Guanajuato and Jalisco. We're bordered. So we're right smack in the middle of all this Cartel de Jalisco, de Nueva Generación, the Zetas, and the Cartel de Sinaloa. Someone said something the other day on the video that the Golfos didn't have any territory in Zacatecas. Complete lie. No. But right now, Cartel de Jalisco, de Nueva Generación, is just torching everybody, dude.
Now, up until this point,
right,
had you observed any cartel?
Yeah, man. When I was managing the factory.
Yeah.
You get to Mexico and you're white. And I mean, I know I've got tattoos and I'm street smart and came from a certain background, but when you get there as an American, you're still a tourist, dog. You don't know shit from Shinola. And when I was there, they're picking us up at 7 a.m. in the morning and taking us out to the factory that's out by the airport. And I'm running this place. I'm training all the Mexicans. The machining industry didn't exist there at all. We were the very first factory in that compound. Usually you leave at like 1,700 hours, man. And so 0,700, you're in the van, 1,700 hours, you're back. It's like clerical bookwork, super regimented. But I mean, it's only like an 8 or 9 hour day. It's like nothing crazy.
During this point in time, do you believe that some of your close allies were part of the cartel as well?
No, definitely not. Not at the aerospace thing. They had nothing to do with it. Everybody that was in that place was a degree.
Maybe not them so much, but maybe like the people that worked the gates or right now.
No, none of them had anything to do with it because jobs are hard to come by in Mexico, Hector.
Okay.
And so all the people that started that factory were degreed engineers. They had nothing to do with it. So when you're in this, you're in like a modern aerospace factory. Everyone's a degreed engineer. There are some campesinos that came there for manual labor jobs that were teaching how to machine parts and push buttons. Great people. I love those guys. Not all of them dug on me, but most of them did. And
so you were the white boss, el jefe.
I was the jefe. And you know what? It felt weird. I'm going to throw this out there too, man. It felt weird sitting in the board meetings that I had in Mexico. Every one of my engineers spoke 2 languages, and the people in the United States only spoke 1. So I got a huge love and respect for Mexico that's just not going to die. So much so that I put El Tri on my. I serve the Mexican Republic proudly. Someday when I die, I'll have a Mexican flag draped over my coffin. One of my brothers from my platoon spoke on one of my videos from Camp Ganya just this morning. Huracan, eso es para ti, eh?
Damn, bro. So you really, really, really were in there. You were
Mexicanos a grito de guerra. Yeah, man.
Damn.
Or no. Россия священная наша держава, Россия любимая наша страна. That's the Russian national anthem.
You can get copyrighted, man. But
no, but hey. But also when I hear the Star Spangled Banner sing too, man, it chokes me up, man, because I know what it means to live someplace and fall in love with the people. And like if someone came in to attack this place, I know for certain you and I would do what it takes to take care of people. And they got like these national things. You don't have to be national to be a good person.
Facts.
And so I really fell in love with everything I met in Mexico. And you asked about the cartel thing. So we're there working, and one day they tell us, hey, you got to shut down at noon. We have to get back. I'm like, whoa. And this isn't that far into it. This is like a month or two into it, dude. What do you mean we got to shut down at noon, man? That's unheard of. Shutting down San Diego. This is the capital city, man. Shutting down San Diego at noon, and everyone has to go shutter their doors and stuff like that.
So not just shutting down the aerospace factory, shutting down the city.
The city.
The town. Oh,
They're shutting down the city because they were pissed off because people weren't paying them money for staying open until 2 o'clock in the morning in the bars, and they can come through, clean house.
Who was going to come through? The
cartels. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They ruled.
So they shut everything. They've got the whole state shut down right this second.
And you're there.
Yeah. And I shut down the factory. We went back, and I went back to my hotel and watched from my hotel room as every shop in the city, Extra or like OXXO and all this stuff, Mexican 7-Eleven, never closed, shutting their doors, man.
What kind of feelings did that arise in you?
That was the first day I really tripped balls. I mean,
anxiety, scared, fear.
Yeah, though you're dealing with people that are going to kill you, man. When I went to Mexico, I was afraid to get shot in the head or have my head cut off.
I'd rather get shot than get my head cut off.
No. You know what? I figured it out, man. And I'm not being bravado. This is not false bravado. I am very much afraid of having my head cut off in the sense that it would be unpleasant. No, bear with me because you're going to get my logic here in a little bit. If you get shot in the head and when you go through, man, because I want to talk about things and then I wonder how much I should talk about.
But fuck it, let loose, bro. Don't hold back.
When you see someone get shot in the head, man, there's one guy that I talked about in Martinez Dominguez, and he got shot, and he had an AR-15 in his right hand, and he had a backpack in his second hand with a black backpack with probably, I don't know, I want to say probably 9 cargadores or magazines in there. And his leg buckled under so fast, it was a 223. So it wasn't even a 308. I carry 308, so that'll let you know whether it was me or not. Usually 308. Sometimes I carry 5.56, but whatever. I'm a 308 or 223. You?
Me personally, 223 only because I'm just 223.
I'm 308. I love 308. But anyways, I was wondering about that because I watch your shows.
I mean, it's just practicality for me. It's an extension of my body.
I'm digging not respecting plates and going through shit, man. But anyways, this guy got hit in the head with 5.56 or 223 for you guys, and it dropped him so fast it blew out the back of his head. But like you'll see stuff that just desensitizes to you, and they got like the 22 vets or whatever every day that self-delete. Part of that is because you'll see things that desensitize you and dehumanize you to where in the people that get locked up to see all the violence too. It's just meat. And so when you're talking about getting your head cut off, yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's really going to suck bad for about 30 to 60 to 90 seconds. But after that, Hector, where are they sending you that you're not already going?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, what if they cut that extra tendon in the inner side that just really
I mean, I'm not being like, it's not bravado, man. I figured out in Mexico because you start seeing heads in coolers.
But hold on, man.
No, let me get into this. So they send us to Jerez, and we go to this gunfight, man. I get yelled at because I'm advancing in the middle of the street. I get yelled at by a Mexican lieutenant that was there. He's like, you fucking idiot, get out of the street. And because you will respond to these things in things called bases de operaciones mixtas, mixed operation bases. Military, state, fed. We all go to like swoop up on these guys. And there's 4 beheaded people there. And my platoon was there. That's something else. For anyone watching this, the members of my platoon that I was working with watch this stuff subtitled in Spanish. So they're going to know instantly whether or not I'm saying something that's not true. So if you feel like you want to hate or throw your little commentary in there, when I was in Mexico working with my platoon, we were there alone in the middle of the night with the bad guys, not you. And when you were over deployed wherever you're doing whatever you're doing, you were there with your brothers and not somebody else that's going to be talking any of your bullshit down in the comments. So that's where I'm at with that whole thing. And if you want to like meet up, I'm a very personal guy. You can meet me in public and we'll talk about it. We'll film it. We'll throw it online. That's where I'm at with all of that. Just so you know what's up. I put on that fucking uniform. It's mine. Every one of my brothers I would die for. we show up to this balaceta, this shootout in Jerez, Zacatecas, Mexico, and they killed these 4 people. They beheaded 4 people, and 3 of them were dudes, and 1 of them was a woman. And when I saw that, just no matter who you are, usually there's some type of I'm getting irritated with that. Usually there's some type of mercy shown women, not there. And so when I figured that out and I saw that, and you see other things that happen, you figure out it could happen to you because, you know, we get kidnapped down there and stuff like that too. And I was thinking for a long time before I put on my, started doing videos in YouTube in January. I don't know when you started, but I started in January. Because you'll hear and see things online and you're like, I want to set the record straight. A lot of cops in Mexico or agents are sold out and thought to be inferior because they think that they're corrupt or whatever. We got great training. We live in a constant active war zone where we don't get to deploy to. We're there every day.
But let me ask you this, though, man. There is a misconception that law enforcement and or police are corrupt in Mexico. They're not a misconception. There is it's knowledge, right?
Some of them are and some aren't.
But aren't you put at a massive disadvantage, you being in that unit, that platoon, in that environment?
Yeah, man. Totally.
Because it almost seems like the world against you.
It is. You know what? I thought about a long time about how I could like put it in a way where people would understand. Because if you and I march our ass down to the Marine Corps recruit depot right now and we put on a uniform, or even if you go to the Army, I go Marines, whatever, you know that you're playing for the same side.
Yeah, you have the might of the United States military power.
Yeah, but I know that I'm loyal to that uniform, and so are you.
Facts.
In Mexico, it's not that way. And worse, a lot of the people there are loyal to that uniform and will die for it and put it on knowing that they're getting the shit in the stick. And then other people are loyal to it but have something that's compromised to where they compromise their family. So now they have to do whatever they want, and other people are just hard up for the money and scumbags.
So, I mean, you seem to have tactical experience and skills.
Yeah, they teach you CQB and all that shit.
So who had more firepower, you guys or the cartel?
No, we got more firepower.
You guys have more firepower.
They told us flat out, because they told us in training, like I don't know what they told you guys in training here, but down there, we got GAFE Special Forces training, some of us, not all of us. But so our training's like dope. And in fact, our training actually, ironically, came from you guys through GAFE to us.
Right.
Or from Israel.
United States also.
Yeah, so also United States, because they're footing the bill. So we're getting like great training, and then you're getting great practice doing it because you fucking live there. I mean, so they train us CQB, they train us Australia rappelling. We're running a lot of it's physical stuff, discipline.
Is there a rules of engagement, or is it a Wild West, or is it just big boy rules?
I'm being careful how I answer that question.
Let me rephrase this question.
Being careful how I answer that question.
Let me rephrase this question to you. Was there a lot of grace in what you did? Meaning a lot of leeway.
I'm just going to say that there are laws that we have to adhere to, being uniformed representatives of the Mexican government.
There you go. That's an excellent, beautiful fucking answer. Okay. Did you manage to get the attention of the cartel? They knew which unit you guys were.
Yeah, totally, man.
They fucking hated you guys?
Yeah, they'll kidnap you and stuff, and like, they'll put up narco mantras. They'll kidnap you and kill you. Yeah.
Were you guys effective? Were you guys dealing like making a dent?
You know what? I'm glad that you said that, dude. You know, one day we were in a balacera gunfight in Zacatecas, and I used to carry, because I'm packing 308 or 7.62 by 51 millimeter. I'm carrying like. Was it an AR-10? No, an AR-10. No, that good weapon, but no, we use mostly Galil, Fall.
Okay.
Yeah, FN Fall. I love Fall, except when you're doing CQB with Fall.
I've never fired one.
It's going to go right through your plate and stuff like that. It's going to smoke you. If you hit something, it's gone. But when you're doing CQB, clearing rooms and stuff like that, the barrel's way too long, and you're going to know I'm there. So when I'm trying to round a corner or something like that.
I find it so fucking crazy, bro, that you gave your first half of your life upbringing, like in the hood, slitting motherfuckers' throats, or alleging to have, and then now
I've never slit someone's throat.
Correct. That's why I said I had to correct myself. But, you know, being involved in all that, and then now you're working for the law, the strong arm of the law.
Well, yeah, so like when you're Fall sucks at CQB. I don't care. They have a shorter version that's the paratroopers version, which isn't as bad. But like I've gone through clearing Finkus and stuff like that, and if you are trying to round a corner or something, someone's grabbing your shit and going to smoke you with a pistol or whatever.
There's a perk of having a long barrel such as an M16. You can really smash them.
Right. You can smash fools. When you're engaging at distance, fuck you. You know. But when you're trying to clear a house or anything, M4 all day long or MP5, anything like that. But when you're...
Did you have a choice in your weapon selection?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. You
just went with a 308, huh?
I'm 308, dude.
What
because
about a
you have
sidearm?
to think about,
Sidearm?
Sidearm, you know what? They got Cheskas and stuff like that a lot of people like, which is like a Czechoslovakian weapon. I'm PX Quattro, which is PX4 Beretta.
Okay.
I like PX4. And you've got Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson's got too many safeties when you're...
True.
I get tired of that shit. You know, Glock, I've had two of my partners, two people that I know, not my partners, shoot themselves with Glocks when they're jumping out of... You know, Sig Sauer had that thing where they're self-firing.
Yeah.
It was never anything like that, but I know two people that have shot themselves with a Glock 17.
Sig P320?
Yeah.
That's going off. So let me get this straight. What does your barracks or sleeping quarters look like when you're in this unit?
Okay, we live at base.
You live at base?
We live at base.
And now, is this all of a sudden, hey, get up in the middle of the night, we're going somewhere?
Yeah, totally, man.
Get your shit on, let's go.
Yeah. I work 43 hours straight, 365 hours a year, or 365 days a year. So 43 hours straight, 360 with 5 hours off, 365 days a year. My wife's sitting right here in the other room. Were you going to leave me because I was never home?
Well, that makes sense. That's understandable. It's taxing for a family.
Yeah, she was going to leave me, dude, because I was never home. So...
Did you guys have an assigned breacher to breach doors?
Yeah, when you're going through, no, we didn't have an assigned breacher, but we'd go through with stacks and stuff like that, and you're jumping out, and whoever's coming up on it. But yeah, we'd have breach. Yeah, I've got pictures. In fact, maybe I'll shoot you some emails where we.
Yeah, let me see those.
I'll send you some pictures. Were you able to recover my documents?
Did you see the Santa Muerte statues in any of these places?
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, dude, it's all over, man.
How was that for you?
I used to have a Santa Muerte pendant that I used to wear. Not that I'm a aficionado of that, but it was kind of like a souvenir for me.
Were you loving this when you were doing it?
I hope you guys are clear about this, man. If you're giving drugs, personal level, I think drugs ought to be legal the same way that beer or anything else is legal. Alcohol is a drug. But if you're giving drugs to kids, man, I got no love for you. Hey, Dave, why do you get online and tell everybody your story? Because I hope someone else is going to hear this shit and decide to show up and do something too. Man the fuck up.
That's a possibility.
All of you federal officers, military, and everybody, none of you kept me from getting drugs when I was a kid. And there's a million more people just like us with the fentanyl and all that shit. And I watch them every fucking day. And I live right down. I watch all the shit that's going on in this country. I'm not going to wait for someone to do the right thing. So when I went to decide that I'm willing to die, and if someday the cartel catches me at my home in Mexico and decides to make an example out of me, that might happen. And I'm not Johnny Badass. I'm not bravado. I'm at one with where I'm going as a human being with my death, and I'm at one with my God. And I'm not some Muslim extremist. I believe in Jesus, and no one's can tell me anything to do except for my boss. So when I confronted all that, it was because I'm not going to let some other kid get drugs.
I like your fucking style, bro.
Straight up.
I like your style, man, because,
I'm not the badass. I'm not like super tall. People can lump me up, but you can't conquer my soul, dude.
100%. Yeah, for sure. I could get fucked up all day long, but that's not the point.
Right.
The point is,
at the end of the day, we were true to ourselves, man. So
you can die happy. I know you can die happy.
We're all going to die. We all want death.
I know you feel accomplished because you
I do and I don't, Hector. You were asking me, okay,
no, bro, you did what you did.
Well, 223 to 308. Let's get back into that because this is an important detail. Carrying 308, you're going to figure out you can only carry about 10 magazines with 20 rounds in each magazine because if you put 30 rounds in a magazine, the spring tension's too much and it won't load. Right. And so when you get into a firefight, this is something I've learned the hard way. Your magazine, you're going to try to engage your enemy. So you're sitting there trying to shoot at them. You're going to hear click, click, and it's not going to chamber around. And so then you look at the front of your magazines and the pressed metal's all bent in.
How many cartels at a time would you guys be engaging? Or
No, generally that's only one. Usually the cartels engage each other, man. It's, you know.
I mean, you would hit a house. You would raid houses.
Yeah, well, you would raid houses, or you would engage. You would go someplace where there's already cartel and violence going on.
So then what was your job?
Your job is to dispatch the bad guys and save the people that are there, man. Straight up. I mean, Trump just classified these guys as enemy combatants or whatever.
Terrorists.
And you're a vet. I'm not. Your brothers are vets. My brothers are not. Well, and technically, vet doesn't carry the same status as it does in Mexico, even though it's a Mexican drug war. It's classified on an international level as a low-intensity conflict, which basically, for those of you that don't know, bars things like IEDs or like high explosives, things that'll take out an MRAP, this type of shit. MRAP, a carrier for troops or whatever, you know. So basically, that's not going on. It does. Sometimes they have dropped some.
Oh, they got fucking IEDs.
Yeah, they've dropped helicopters out of the sky, but their use is very common because if they use those, they're elevating it to another level to where it's now an international conflict.
What was the most gruesome thing you've seen? Was it the 4 beheaded people?
Yeah, that was up there. I saw some coolers in a head one day.
Coolers in a head.
I mean, 2 heads in a cooler one day.
Heads in a cooler.
Yeah, that were in plastic bags. I threw them in the cooler and then just left them there as a message. Another day when the Dalai Lama, one time we were protecting the Dalai Lama, showed up to Mexico, so we're protecting him. And at 4:45, they had left, in the morning, they had left 2 bodies hung up from the bridge across the street from the Capitol building. And we're going there, and one of them's still alive, and the other one was dead, and they're both clearly tortured. And so it's just weird, the shit that sticks with you. They had blood and stuff all over their clothes, but the one guy, his socks still looked white, like they were just out of Walmart. It's weird, the things that'll stick with you. And so we're getting these guys.
There was a guy hanging, and he was covered in blood, but his socks were white?
2 of them, yeah. Yeah.
And that you were just looking at those socks like, that's
how the hell
weird.
did they, yeah.
I understand what you're saying. The weird shit seems to stand out in certain fucked up situations.
It does. So,
that is kind of weird.
It's way out, man. Yeah, I wound up going and getting this job.
Well, how was the pay? The benefits, was it worth?
5,722 pesos every 2 weeks.
Which equates to what?
$600 a month. I went from making $100,000 a year managing this factory and a $5,000 a month bonus to get that factory online to go make $600 a month because I believe in what the fuck I'm doing, man. Or what I was doing.
How long did you do this for?
I entered service May 1st of 2012, and I stopped just before the new sexennial came in when Governor Teo took office, which would have been in August of 2016.
Holy shit. 13, 14, 15, 4 years, 4.5 years.
5.
Almost 5 years. 5 years. Dude, were you the only Americano in that unit?
There was 3 of us in the country. There was a Polak that was working in Mexico City, and then there was another guy, John Casada, who was Colombian Special Forces, who came to Mexico, who started in Rio Grande, training police. And that's actually how I got in to begin with, was training people hand-to-hand combat. And I can send you copies of my letters, my acuses, my carta de comisión to verify. And I'm going to. For those of you that don't know, I am going to trust Hector with all of my documents, and he can white out. It's up on my YouTube channel right now if you want to go see it. I've already got it up.
What is it? What is your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is Fusil Automático Ligero.
How do you spell that?
Well, just look up Dave Frank, DAVEFRANKE.
Are you on Instagram? Are you on Instagram as well?
No, just YouTube.
Just YouTube.
Yeah, I just started. Well, because you'll hear things online, man, and people will like say stuff, and there's a lot of grifters. And the thing that I dig about you is you for years showed up without a doubt in green in the presence of people that will kill you.
In a heartbeat.
Fucking bravo, man. Because you know what else I see on YouTube? I see a lot of people that put on a fucking ski mask and pretend like they're whatever. And they're making some money off of it. And I get making money. But the biggest thing I care about is making sure that we're truthful. My wife and I, we were talking back and forth about, what we should talk about. And I said that Hector's from Southern California. We're just going to vibe, dude.
Yeah, dude, I believe, and you'll agree with this, that the population is craving honesty more than ever.
100%. So if you're authentic and genuine, you don't necessarily have to like what someone says, but you
Oh, yeah, we piss off a lot of people.
right, but you're going to respect, hey, you know what? And about like the whole white racist thing, blacks and Latinos will respect straight up if
Facts.
you just, yeah, I don't dig on you because you're whatever,
Oh,
man.
they would love that. Yeah, but it's
Because
out of
at
respect.
least they're being honest, man.
At least they know where you're coming from.
And I'm not like that anymore because I figured out a long time ago, Andre helped me figure out that we don't have any choice of what
Who's
color
Andre?
we're born. The Black Nation,
Oh, yeah,
Nation of
yeah.
Islam I was telling you guys about. I don't know how this podcast is going to go, and this isn't like exactly
Oh, it's
my
going-
forte, but man,
it's
when I had
already-
the opportunity to come here, 100% I'm going to hit it because I love your channel and I love what you're about because you're just real, dude. And there's so many people in YouTube land that aren't real. They're just
Yeah, there is. I mean, I don't fucking take a look anymore. It's just exhausting.
some are, but there's some aren't that they're just in it for the money and stuff
Yeah.
like that or clickbait, and that's not what I'm
Yeah,
about.
no clickbaits, no bullshit.
yeah,
no
just straight
fluff,
up, what's up?
No fucking fluff.
He's wearing a Pendleton, man. I love it, dude.
Yeah, dude. So, you said you lost brothers in arms?
Yeah, man.
During conflicts?
Yeah, they've got a plaque up at base with people. Yeah, it's Mexico, dude. You know how they got that saying like whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? I came up with a saying while we were working in Mexico. What happens in Mexico never even happened. Do you want to know why I came to that? Because it's clear, like when you start there, you wonder how long it's going to be until you wind up in a firefight. Your wife's a national reporter, which level respect to every reporter in Mexico, and not the grifters that come in from outside, but the reporters in Mexico that show up to tell people the truth every day. They do it with a pen and without an M16.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Journalism is huge.
They have a level of courage that
Absolutely.
because me and my brothers, when we go out, we go looking for stuff and we're trained.
Right. Armed.
We got our shit. Let's go.
I don't mean to get all up in your business,
You're
but
not
is that how you met your wife? She was a journalist down there during your
yeah,
time?
we did. I didn't dig on her, man.
Okay.
Because
That's
we don't
cool.
dig on journalists. If you're working for the government, journalists aren't people that you're happy with, you know.
Or translators. Yeah, journalists. I've encountered that.
You guys, translators, we don't have them down there because everyone
Yeah.
speaks Spanish. But yeah, you know, your translator over in the sandbox or whatever, I'm sure that you're not always going to dig on them. So we didn't dig on them. My wife and the reporters that I met, man, they're very courageous people that go out of their way and risk their life to bring people the truth too. So when we go to base and you wonder how long it's going to be until you see some shit because it's Mexico and people die. There's been hundreds of thousands of people that have been killed there in this. Maybe 1 million. There's been several tens of thousands, and I mean getting close to 100,000 of people that are disappeared. So one day we're out in the middle of the desert in the middle of the night, and there's just us, not even God's there. It's just us and the bad guys. And I was just thinking, and they have this thing in Spanish when you're saying stuff, and you'd be like, no, mi rey. You're like, no, my king. When you're telling someone that, the person that's having that told to them is in a really bad position, man. It's like you're not anyone powerful anymore. And you just think about all the stuff that goes on in Mexico that is never even going to be heard of because you're not there.
Facts.
Dead silence. How many times have you gotten into an engagement where it's just you and the bad guys? There's no civilians anywhere. It's just you and them. And
During these exchange of fires, are you guys yelling? Are you yelling in Spanish bad words or anything?
bad words? Yeah, my level of groserías in Spanish is really good. In fact, people laugh about that all the time because they're like, shit, I don't know if I said, "Aplaste tus pinches nalgas así, cabrón." I mean,
Chinga tu madre, cabrones.
oh no, I know. I might know more bad stuff in Spanish than you. And people are like, where the hell did this gringo learn all this bad stuff in Spanish? I learned, the military, agents, police, and cartel.
What ultimate lesson did you take away from your experience working in Mexico?
I was a sniper for my platoon, so I'm always up on top. You ever seen the movie Sicario?
Yes.
Okay, you know when they're taking the witness into Mexico and they got all the federal trucks and we're all up in the back of the trucks? That's my job. That's what I do. So if you've seen this, Watch the movie Sicario. When they're taking the witness, when they're escorting the convoy into Mexico, those blue trucks, I'm the guy up in the back with the machine gun, dude. So my initial responsibility, I'm going to get into my ultimate lesson I took from Mexico, is to repel any aggression. One day I'm up there and I lost my passport and I'm with my general, so we can't just stop. And I became Mexican in that moment because I can no longer leave the Republic of Mexico because now I'm just anybody else. No birth certificate. I went to the consulate in Guadalajara. They didn't want to see me because I didn't have a birth certificate. I couldn't get my docs, man. Finally, my sister had to send me a spare birth certificate I had at her house from the States into Mexico so I could leave the Republic of Mexico and come back home. And so in order to do that, I had to think about if they don't let me in, how am I going to cross so I can get back home? Because once you're on American soil, they have to attend you. And I'm a certified diver, and so I figured out that I would probably come back in with scuba gear through Del Rio, Texas. And my wife begged me not to think about that or consider it because the cartel will fucking smoke you if you try to cross without paying them their
They
lana.
will?
Fuck yeah, man. That's a business, dude.
Okay.
Human trafficking.
I didn't know that. I mean, that's...
You know, they got Jordan Custer. I used to talk a lot of smack about Jordan Custer because he's talking about human trafficking this, human trafficking that. I didn't believe it. But yeah, they make money transporting people across the border. If you try to cross without approving it with them, yeah, they'll get you, dude.
Why would you have crossed the Texan border and not the Californian border? Or Arizona?
Because it's directly north from Zacatecas.
Oh, directly north from Zacatecas.
Or I would have gone to Tijuana, got some scuba gear, and just swam up, but you're swimming against the current. But you got to be careful with that because they got Coronado Island and stuff right here.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure they got dolphins that are trained in the water that will attack you if you try to swim up or whatever.
Dolphins?
Yeah. The Navy does some freaky stuff around Coronado Island, man. They are very high tech. Yeah, they've got intelligent dolphins, mammalians that will attack you. Let's just put it like this. Can dolphins be trained? Yes or no?
100%.
Okay. And they're intelligent.
Facts.
And they attack sharks.
Do they?
Fuck yes, they do. Dolphins will mop a shark.
I got to Google that.
So if they had dolphins swimming around and they see some human that's blowing bubbles in there and they've been attacked, you're on thin ice. So I don't know how they only extend that rail only because you've seen it yourself. I've got pictures climbing that wall, by the way, right there. Yeah, Imperial Beach, not going over it, obviously, but I was on the Tijuana. Used to live in Tijuana. I climbed up it one day just with grip strength. But if you go out there and try to cross that thing, I'm pretty sure that they've got the ability to make sure that you stay on the Mexican side of the border. I mean, it's the United States, man, if they really want to keep you there.
True.
Oh, so I had to think about how I was going to get back home. The ultimate lesson that I learned when I lost my passport and became a human being, realizing that if I had to feed my family or myself and there was the ability to eat on the other side of the border and not here, because in Mexico you might wait 3 or 4 years to find a job.
Right.
From a human standpoint, I got to eat.
Facts.
In that moment, I realized that human beings are human beings. They don't have a choice where they're born. And yeah, there has to be some type of structured migration because you can't just go wiping out economies either.
Right.
But also I went to law school in Mexico. My wife worked 3 jobs that put me through law school in Mexico. And so I learned a lot of the other side. When we went to school, a lot of our teachers were government lawyers that we used to work with. And they told us, you have to lose that mentality that you have behind your weapon and in the back of the truck and realize that there's a reason why we have structured laws and people need due process.
Correct.
They need to be considered innocent or the presumption of innocence. Because when you're driving around with a weapon, sometimes it could be some people forget that.
Right.
I'm going to leave it at that.
No, I totally get it, man.
And so you learn to change your mentality a little bit too. Ultimately, Hector, I don't know what will ever become of my life. I'm getting older.
I think you...
My next conquest is to become a lawyer in this country and to help people.
You're on track, man. You're on track. You got the experience, dude. We've come to the end of the interview. I'm glad that you came, dude, and shared your story. We could do like 2 or 3 parts.
We can do that too. I want to say right now too, being a bad guy, being a good guy, because we're all born innocent. So there was a point in time where I was just an innocent little kid, all of us, and then we become bad. I don't want to say bad, but we experience what we experience, and then we wake up and we become good again. and I want to figure out how to maximize the effect that I can have on people in a positive way. And I don't know if it'll becoming a YouTube personality like you do. You affect a lot of people, man. You affected me and my household without even knowing me, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
for real.
that.
And I want to thank you for your service, and I want us all to come together and figure out how to lift us all up.
Absolutely, dude. 100%.
So that was my ultimate lesson in Mexico, teaching me how to become a human being.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, man.
You're welcome anytime back here, bro. You ever want to get tacos in San Diego, let me know.
Hey,
dude.
Konos, man, I love it, dude.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow, there you guys have it, folks. Another banger, man, for you guys. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Love you. Keep pushing forward.
Thank you.
Unhinged mind, Hector's legend engraved. Living life raw, never been tamed. From the hood to the pen, truth and tales bend. Hector Bravo unhinged, story never ends.